Hi, Mark here from the Tangent-Bound Podcast Network and host of the flagship show, the Tangent-Bound Podcast. Did you know that we over at Tangent-Bound are always looking for amazing podcasts to promote? And did you also know that we are also proud nerds and geeks of everything from movies, music, gaming, TV shows, and comic books to wrestling, MMA, soccer, and football? Whatever you can nerd or geek out about, we've got it. And if you're interested, we can help you find it. And if you're a show looking for a place to call home, we've got you covered. Side effects may include upset stomach, dizziness, tumors, shakes, and in some rare cases, death from excessive laughter. Though to be fair, it's only sometimes. Other side effects may include diarrhea, gallstones, heart palpitations, and strong desire for cookies on the dark side. Talk to your doctor and visit TangentBoundNetwork.com and see if Tangent-Bound Network is right for you.
Sucks to the last drop. Are you gonna blow your head off? Take good aim and don't forget to duck. A light sucks every Monday and all the way to Sunday, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't care how you're doing, what's up or how's it hanging. I'd like to buy this world one last drink. Life sucks all of the time, so stick it up your sunshine, and then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of The Crazy Life. I'm Brian. Joining me as always is Henno.
Hello.
We're back off our
I'm
sabbatical.
actually I'm stoked.
Yeah. I was hoping
actually
earlier
really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was going to say when you texted me, I was so hoping it wasn't going to be like, cuz, do you feel like recording? Cuz I don't.
No, because
I was like, oh.
Seriously, we talked about it a couple nights ago, and I was just like, I seriously was like, God, I'm like, am I getting a cold? Am I not feeling well? And I'm just like, I'm clearly not. I'm off, and I was like, I hope Sunday I'm like ready. And today, like I was driving back from Boise, and I was just ready. I'm like, I'm so ready.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
I was excited about that. So yeah. It was great to be in that headspace, because
yes,
I can't say for the last month I would have been at all.
Yeah, I imagine. And it's funny because like Friday when I texted you, I was kind of like, please say no, please say no. I was such a vegetable on the couch, and I have been lately again. I gotta find a way out of it, but it's I just didn't feel like doing anything Friday. I don't even remember what I was doing. I was watching baseball because playoff baseball is going on. So I was just watching baseball, and it was it Friday night? I think Friday night was that game that went like 15 innings between the Tigers and the Mariners, and I was like, I just want to sit here and watch baseball.
Yep.
So I'm glad that this worked out, even though I just was checking the score. It looks like I didn't miss anything in the Lions game tonight. So, but anywho, so
that's funny.
Yeah, got some exciting news the other day. I went to eat a Dorito and broke a tooth. And I was like, man, because I thought I lost a filling in this one tooth a couple weeks ago, and I was like, well, I have an appointment coming up. I'll just wait. I called them one day to see if they had anything sooner, and they didn't. So I was like, whatever. And of course, it was that same tooth. And when I, went in, because I told them, what had happened, and so I got in like that day actually, which shocked me. Get in there and basically found out I need to have a root canal. and they don't.
Oh no!
And they don't do them where I go anymore. So now I got to find someone that takes my insurance that does root canals, and so yeah, that'll be fun.
Bummer.
Yeah, I think I know of a place that does. I know there's a place in Monroe that definitely takes my insurance because I contacted them before. So I might just go up there and have them do it and see if maybe they can just do the filling also. That way it's just done, after the root canal. But if not, I can have the filling done here. But, and then the guy's like, and you should have a crown put over the top. And I'm like, man, I don't have crown money. Like, my insurance doesn't pay for crowns. Although he did tell me, apparently, Ohio Medicaid is starting to pay for crowns on back teeth now. So,
okay.
Because those are your chewing teeth. The front teeth are just basically cosmetic. Which is so stupid. You shouldn't.
It really is.
No, you should be able to have a full mouth of teeth. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Right. Yeah.
But apparently it is, so whatever. But anyway, so when I call my insurance to talk to, I'm going to ask them just in case. But if not, then they'll just put a filling in it, and it'll last however long it lasts, and then I'll have to have it pulled because I already have a filling in that tooth. So basically, they're going to have chopped both sides of the tree, as the dentist told me, to where I'm going to have a piece of tooth in the middle, basically, and filling on either side. So,
wow.
And it's like that, or I could just say, screw it, and have them yank it and be done.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't want to because it is right where I chew, So,
and it's my experience with that. It is not the thing to do because your other tooth is going to start to grow to fill in the gap.
Yep. And I just, it's not something I want to do anyway. So I was like, whatever, we'll just do what I can do within my means and figure it out. Like, it's funny because I'm not even like stressed about it, because honestly, going in there, I was very much like, I bet I'm going to have it pulled. Because basically the wall of the tooth, the side, is where the decay was, and that's where it broke. And I was like, and it was pretty deep. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be able to fix this, And like he said, if they fix it as is, if the root is dead, then all you're going to do is seal that decay in. And then it becomes a real problem down the road, blah, blah. So whatever. But on the same day, I actually did get a balance that day, right? So I had sent off some comic books to get graded. And I've been waiting for him to come back, and because it's a lengthy process, it took like over 2 months. So,
wow,
yeah. And I sent 6 books off. There was one that I was hoping would get a 10, like a high grade, but I didn't expect it because it's hard to get 10s, And the rest I figured were probably around 9.6. So what I did was you can ask for a pre-screen and basically set a number of like 9.6, because anything under that, a lot of times, it's not worth that much more than just the book itself for these ones. So I was like, well, I'll put it at 9.6. Well, they all made it through that. So I was like, cool. That means they're all going to probably, no guarantee, but probably get a 9.6. And it turned out 4 of the 6 actually got a 9.8, and 2 of them got a 9.6.
Wow.
So it actually went better than I thought across the board. So I was like, awesome, because, now there's some significant value to those books. So that, I went and got the news about my tooth, came home, the box was there from the company, and I'm like, all right, here we go. So, my brother and I are there, and I'm sliding.
Here we go.
I'm sliding one out at a time, just seeing what the grade is, and, that was kind of fun. But, yeah, so, but on the upside, that was the last filling I was going to have, so I was finally done with that, but, so, now it goes into something I've never had. I haven't had a root canal, so I get to check that off of my dental bucket list.
You haven't?
No.
Wow.
No, I've been fortunate in that regard, yeah. So, yeah, but whatever. And like I said, it's got to be done, so we'll go handle that. But yeah, I had a real good run for a while there of, having enough energy. I was getting up every day, doing stuff, whatever. And man, whatever that was, it's gone. I'm waking up and I'm feeling tired again. And then when I'm getting, I just don't, I'm back to that Man, I think part of it has to do with the weather because we're starting to get blah days here. You know, it is that time of year that, you know, seasonal, what is it? Seasonal affective disorder or whatever is sad.
Affective disorder.
Yeah.
Sad.
You know, starts.
Sad.
Yeah. So, you know, when I see my psychiatrist again here in a month or something like that, I might talk to her about it. Maybe going up a dose on the antidepressant through the winter, like I've done with the other ones in the past, you know. So yeah, I found out, you know, I've lost about 10 pounds since being on whatever, Ozempic or whatever. So, you know, nothing crazy. And I hadn't noticed it a ton. And then when I went into the doctor's office, you know, they had me step on the scale and I was like, oh, okay. Like, cool. You know, so.
Dude, that's significant.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully it affects my other numbers, you know, too. You know, I'll find that out in a couple of weeks when I go back to my doctor for the follow-up. But, yeah, you know, so it's been a lot of that. And I can't remember what else. God, it's been a while since we recorded. I was trying to think what else has happened since then. But, you know, overall, things have been going all right. It's just, it's weird though because, you know, like I told my therapist, things have been going okay. So my brain immediately is like, all right, where's the bad stuff? You know, and I will say this: when my tooth broke, you know, it happened at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So I was like, well, I'm going to just stay up a little longer and call the dentist like right off the rip, basically. You know, as soon as they open, I'm going to be like, hey, do you have any appointments? Like, basically, I'll take anything today because I want to get this handled. And it sucks now because of having to find somewhere else. I got to put it off till whenever, you know, I'll call tomorrow and try to get it as soon as possible, you know, so I don't like break the tooth worse or to where it has to be an extraction, you know. But I wasn't like I said, I wasn't immediately like, oh, of course this happened or blah, blah, blah kind of thing. It was just like, you know, like, I mean, I did, but it was more because it was like, dang it. Like, I should have called and talked to it. But the dentist even was like, yeah, he goes, when you lost the filling in it, he goes, even if you had come in, I would have probably given you the same advice. He's like, because we would have looked at it and been like, hey, this is what's going on. So this was the first time I've ever gone through the test of them seeing if the root is dead, though, which I did not know is something that is...
Oh, isn't that trippy?
Yeah, where they just like freeze the end of the hook, basically, and touch your tooth.
So trippy.
And I didn't feel anything. Like, I felt him touch the tooth, but I didn't feel any cold. And he goes, okay. And then he told me, he's like, what we want is you to feel it, but not come screaming out of the chair. And I was like, okay. So he goes, well, we're going to do this. And then he tried again, and he goes, okay. He goes, this is the part that'll 100% tell us. He's like, I'm going to take the hook and go all the way in, basically. And he goes, and that will 100% tell us if that's a dead root or not. And he did it, and he goes, anything? I'm like, nope. And he goes, that's what I figured.
Yeah, there was when I had the last year when I had whatever it was, 2 root canals, 3 crowns, whatever it was.
Yeah,
they were doing the test for the first root canal, and they were going around my teeth, and they kind of went back to like one of my front teeth, and I'm just like, I was just sitting there not saying anything, and they're like, you might have a problem there. I'm like, yeah, I think I might.
Yeah.
Because it'd been weird because the minute that they did it, I was thinking to myself, you know, that tooth has felt funny for a while.
Yeah.
Like I had no pain, no nothing.
Yeah.
But they're like, let's test this again. He's like, do you feel anything? I'm like, no. It's like, yeah, that might be dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
How all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I feel nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, because when he touched one of my other teeth, I was like, yeah, I feel that cold. And then he was telling me, you know, the first time they touch far away just to see if there's any sensation. Then the next time, he goes, the second time we're putting it like right by it. He goes, and those nerves, if they're alive, will go get away. And he goes, so if you're not feeling it, you know, I was like, oh. I was like, all right.
Yeah, that was because it was quite literally like it was a rear molar and then it was my front tooth, and they went to my front tooth right away, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel anything. I'm like, oh no.
Right.
You think let's circle back around to that one.
Yeah. Like, dang it. Like I came in here for one, not two.
For one, not two.
Yeah. Like I don't want bonus root canals.
The good news is a root canal on your front tooth is super easy.
Yeah, you told me
it's
about
trippy
that.
how easy it is. Yeah.
That was like when
compared
I had
to the other one. So
they put the filling stuff on my front tooth because the very edge was like it had eroded a little bit and it was cracked, or not cracked, but jagged a little bit. So they put a little filling stuff over it. And, you know, she was like, I don't even have to numb you up for this. We're just basically just brushing the stuff on and, you know, letting it set. So yeah, that was wild. But yeah, you know, what else has there been? I've been trying to you know, cook more. I've been really trying to I've been getting a lot better about like my portion sizes, stuff like that, because I was having a lot of issues with the real full sensation from that's weird. I'm hearing another voice. That's strange. Okay. Yeah.
are you hearing voices?
Yeah, it might be. Dang it.
Okay.
So, you know, like I said, so I've been portioning down to where, you know, I'm not going back for seconds on anything, which is really hard when something tastes really good. You know, like there was, I forgot what it was. There was something I made last week. Oh, it was like steak tips and some veggies and mashed potatoes and all this. And I ate it and I was like, oh, it tasted so good. I wanted to go get more, but I'm like, if I do, I'm going to regret it for hours because of the way this works now, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this, you know, it's like, okay, I'll just have more later. You know, that's all I can really do. So, yeah. It's been interesting adjustments in that regard. Going out to eat is where it's been the hardest. Like going out for fast food or something like that, because I got to keep telling myself, don't get large, don't add extra. You know, like some places I'd go, I'd get like a sandwich, fries, and then like an additional like, you know, 4-piece nugget or something. It's like I got to trim off the nuggets and or cut back on the fries to make room for the nugget. However, you know, it's you have to be a little smarter about it, because again, otherwise I'm going to regret it for a while. You know, so you know, whatever. Hopefully it's worth it. I hope like I said, hopefully the diabetes numbers and stuff come down. So, because that's the real reason I'm on it. But you know, I contacted a lawyer about talking about disability again. What's funny is I did a thing and then they were supposed to call me the next day. Dude, they called me at 8:30 in the morning. I was like, no.
Like, it's like, thank you for being prompt. However,
I heard
there's a reason I'm asking for disability.
Oh,
and it's because I don't get up at 8 in the morning.
I heard my phone buzz, you know, like it was ringing, and I'm like, who is calling me? And I roll over and look, and I see the number, and then I was like, I don't know that number. And then I see, you know, because the voicemails now show up almost like a text. And I see it, and I was like, 8:30 in the morning? Like, geez. Like, what are we doing? Because they didn't give me the option of, like, when's a good time to call kind of a thing, you know? So I got to do that, you know, tomorrow or Tuesday also. But I was like, geez, you know. It just made me laugh because, you know, it's like, man, 8:30 in the morning. It's like, geez, man. Like, it's like he called me from home, you know, like he's at the office that early. That's insane.
Yeah.
But whatever, you know, that's so, yeah, you know, still been trying to sort through stuff and get rid of stuff, donate stuff. You know, I've slowed way down on it. I actually need to, I dug out a bunch of like sheets and stuff the other day that it's like, I don't think any of the beds in this house are that size anymore. because the one I'm sleeping on is one size. The one my roommate's sleeping on he got a different bed in there, and it's smaller than the one I had. So I'm like, I don't have a need for these, and they're good sheets. So I should just donate these, because I'm not going to throw them away. They're in decent shape. I got to look through them real quick first just to make sure they're not worn or tore or anything like that. But, so yeah, that's been what a lot of what I've been doing lately is nothing or like I've barely been playing video games. I mean, I honestly, I've been sitting watching baseball a lot. I think baseball is my problem. So, how about you? What do you got? I'm sure it's way more exciting than what I got.
Oh, wow. Like, where do I start? So I was trying to, I had to look at the date of our last podcast.
Yeah.
So I was like, did I talk about this or did I not? So my former dentist, who was also my bandmate.
Oh yeah, your dental story is way better than mine.
Yeah. Beat up his wife.
Yeah.
In front of his children to the point where she had a broken wrist, broken jaw, several teeth knocked out. So stomped her head into a concrete floor.
Jesus.
In front of his kids.
Right. And I do want to mention this is not alleged. Like he's been convicted of this, I believe, right?
Well, he pled guilty.
Right. Okay.
He did a deal.
Okay.
The real stick part was the prosecutor was actually going to let him off kind of easy, and the judge was like, no.
Yeah,
Like, I am not accepting this deal.
Okay.
So he ended up giving him a minimum 5-year sentence with the 10 years to be optional.
Okay.
So it could be, depending on what happens. So
right.
And then Andrea got a judgment. Well, they did it. She did a divorce. That all went through. For those of us in the community, a lot of us, he was still in business. I had a dentist appointment like the week after this happened.
Right.
And I'm sure I talked about it. I know I talked
did.
about it.
You definitely did. I remember it. Yeah.
Because it was a big gut check for me. And that was the realization of like, that business is more than just him.
Yeah.
It's everybody that works there. And I'm glad I stayed there.
Yeah.
So, and then in the process, then eventually because he pled guilty, there's never a trial. So there was never any, when the sentencing occurred, she did get up and speak, but the whole time, I know I talked about this too here on it, was this idea that I believe people should have a chance for redemption.
Yes.
And that if people really screw up, that they should have a chance to make up for it. And there was no testimony from anybody until the sentencing. And I was willing to go visit him actually in the jail and talk to him, because I really wanted, before I made any judgment, because a lot of people in the community were just right away, just instantly, making judgment. And I was like, it's a horrible thing. And I know I shared that we had to delete all of our tracks for our recording and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, when it came down to what's my personal feeling on it, I wanted to hear from him. I wanted to hear if there was any sort of
like remorse or anything.
Yeah, or anything.
Yeah.
And that article in the paper was so disgusting.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, nothing. He's not even a human. He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
So then he filed a civil suit against him and was awarded a huge judgment.
Yeah.
One of those judgments that like no one's ever going to pay.
Yeah.
And, but a few months ago, I was at the dentist's office, and the dental manager, who's, clearly friends with Andrea, says, there is a bunch of equipment in the garage, guitars, amplifiers, whatever. Would you be willing to help Andrea with selling them? And I was like, yes, 100%. absolutely, because I was thinking about those kids.
Yeah.
And the older daughter, Aspen, at the time when this occurred was, I mean, the last time I saw Aspen was probably 5 years ago when she was probably like 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen her in a long time. And her and I had made a connection, you know, like we had fun at shows and stuff. And young Asher he's too little. He's 8 years younger. So he was a toddler.
Mm.
And he was horribly traumatized, I heard, from this whole thing. And so I was
Can't
like, yes,
imagine,
absolutely.
Like, God, it had to be awful.
Oh,
just
he couldn't be alone. 2 years he couldn't be alone in a shower.
well, I guess watching somebody do that to your mom, you know,
Yeah.
let alone your dad,
Oh,
you know,
because they blame themselves. I mean,
kids.
that's just how kids
Yeah,
work. It's
yeah.
horrible. Yeah.
so horrible. Yep.
So, yeah. So I was like, yes, absolutely, hands down. And all of a sudden I got the phone call. Like I looked down, or it was actually a text message, and I called immediately back and I said, I am there. When can I be there? And I went there. The best part was I walked in the door and Aspen came up and gave me a hug. She's taller than I am now. She's fourth freshman in high school.
Jeez. All right.
But she remembered me.
Mhm.
It made me feel so good. And I'd never actually had a conversation with Andrea before because he was a sociopath. And
Yeah.
if he saw her talking to anybody, that would be a problem.
Oh man.
And like it was crazy. So that first night I went into the garage, and at one point I just stopped and I actually teared up a little bit because she had an inventory list that she estimated at over $100,000 worth of equipment. And I'm just like, you probably go over that by half. Like it's probably 150, maybe even more.
Yeah.
And these kids don't have a college fund.
Yeah.
They have nothing.
Right.
And he was buying all this equipment.
Yeah.
And you can only use one guitar at a time. There was 40 guitars, 20 of which were, I mean, these are over $5,000 instruments.
Right.
And it just got worse and worse, finding boxes of some of the most expensive boutique amplifiers I've ever found in the box, never even been unwrapped.
Right.
And so I filled a full-size van, like every inch of it, brought it to my house. I've done it 2 more times since then.
Jeez. I mean, you showed me earlier, you know, a walkthrough of it, and man, it is crazy.
It's crazy. And the first thing is all the real high-end stuff went down to a music store in Boise that I've become recently acquainted with, who I absolutely trust.
Yeah.
And they're very reasonable. They do a 25% consignment for anything that's over $3,000. And I'm like, perfect. This is what we want. Cause I don't want to deal with the stuff.
Yeah.
Anything that's basically, let's just say $1,000, roughly $1,500 or less, I will take care of because I will now save her money.
Right.
Because I will take a trade.
Yeah.
The best part of this whole thing has been I have been able to play stuff, instruments and amplifiers and pedals that I've only seen in magazines.
Right. Okay.
And the coolest thing is there's nothing better to cure your FOMO on, or your grass is greener syndrome than getting a chance to actually play all the stuff.
Yeah.
Or use all the things that you've
Right.
always dreamed about and went, kind of like what I have.
Yeah.
Like there's things where I'm like, yep, I don't need any more basses. I don't need there's so much, it's been so good for me from just like a mental health standpoint of
Okay.
where we get the focus wrong. It's like you think like the thing is going to make your life easier
Mm-hmm.
when it's really just what you put into what you have,
Right.
kind of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
it's what we face every day. Like it ain't about the tools and the equipment. It's about what's between your ears. What are you doing? It's about your creativity, your focus. And so that part of it's been great. And sending her money like every week has been just the best.
Yeah.
It has felt so good to be like, here, $2,000,
Yeah.
$2,500, $1,500,
Yeah.
and it has felt good. And the people in the community that I brought, because I let everybody know, like, I've got all this stuff. Come on over. We'll make deals.
Yeah, sure.
So a lot of people came out, cash, stuff that was reasonably priced. And then it's just been fun to like some people were like, I don't want any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but you're going to take something that was bad and you're going to turn it into something good.
There you go. Right.
We're going to take a lot of really bad energy.
Yep.
And it's been fantastic. The first night the kids were there, so it was really fun. The kids are doing great. It was really great. But the next night I went over there, it was just Andrea and myself, and I got to ask her some hard questions and get some details. And I mean, there was a lot of tears. It was heavy.
Yeah.
But one of the things that what I tried to bring from my own experience with recovery was, I had talked about that idea of redemption. And I said, I'm just going to give you an example of what I've done with my recovery with people that I wronged and the kind of conversations that I had with them.
Yeah.
And this, to me, I look at it from the standpoint of a human. If I can do it, if this drunk who did some horrible stuff can sit down and have hard conversations and own it,
Mm-hmm.
I believe anybody can.
Yeah.
They might need a lot of therapy. They might need a lot of whatever, but I know it's possible because if I can do it, I know other people can do it. And so I tried to bring that into the conversation. Like, these are the things that I was able to do in recovery when I put in the effort to do so. And I'm like, I've seen none of that from him.
Yeah.
And
well,
as
and
a
we
matter
both
of
know,
fact,
right? Like the first movement has to be accepting that you have something that needs to be fixed, and
and clearly
he's not.
There's
at that
nothing
point.
wrong with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he ever will be because the psychiatric evaluation of him is that he's a sociopath.
Right. And typically,
and it's probably true. And the thing that we know is people with some of these diseases, they can't ever get better because their disease will always keep them from getting better. Mm-hmm. So, there are times where I start to feel a little overwhelmed with just the sheer amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Then I think about those kids, and I think about what they went through, and I think about what got her in the car. He got her kids and herself with a broken wrist and a broken jaw in the car and drove herself to the hospital.
That's right. Good for her.
He did nothing.
Yeah.
And I think of that, and I think of her telling me the story about it, and I just go, F that guy, and I start selling stuff.
Yeah, you're doing it in spite of him at that point.
Reinvigorated.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
100%,
so, this last month I've had kind of a second job. It just felt really good. It's just felt...
Yeah, you ain't kidding, because it seriously looks like you're liquidating a store. Like from the stuff you showed me.
Seriously,
yeah.
When I went down to the music store and I was telling when I brought in the first round of guitars to the collection, people, their eyes were bugging out. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like, are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, some of this stuff is one of a kind stuff. Yeah. But then they're like, what about the pedals and stuff? And I'm like, I could fill your entire display cases with the amount of pedals I have. Like, they were like, what? Because I just kept finding more and more. Because when they went into the garage, they just grabbed everything on the benches and just dumped them into boxes.
Yeah.
And so as I'm going through boxes, I'm like, oh, look, here's more. And brand new. I mean, this is where I would start to feel sick, where I'd find duplicate, triplicate pedals brand new in their boxes, never even been opened and used. And it's like, ew.
Why do you
just gross?
Because forgive me here. Why would you want more than one of the same pedal aside from like a backup in case one dies or something? Other than that, is there any reason?
Multiple setups if you're out like touring, but he wasn't.
Okay, right. Okay. I was just curious for my own sake. Right.
Just because he could, because he had the money.
Yeah, okay.
And he probably has, it's got something. So here's the one thing that was crazy. When we played gigs, Brian and I were the only ones that didn't drink.
Yeah.
When we were playing the band together. But if you'd have asked me if that guy was sober, I would have been like, no way. There's no way that guy's sober.
Like he's on something, but I don't know what it is, type of thing.
Like I would have never have believed it. I thought he just did it for religious purposes, but it was like it wasn't genuine.
Yeah.
Like there was something about it where I'm like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I was right. When the thing happened, I was like, he had to have been drunk. Like it was such an extreme reaction.
Yeah.
I knew he had anger issues, but like to go to this extreme, I thought, and she told, because I asked her, I said, tell me, did he drink? And she said, oh yeah. He said, I didn't know, but when I got into the American Express accounts, there were $200 trips to the liquor store.
So he just kept it from you guys then, basically, or from the public, whatever.
He was, all right, so now if you've started your own amplifier building company and you build all the amplifiers in your garage, what's a great place to go hang out and have some drinks and build your amplifiers? You found the empty bottles in the garage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and of course his lawyer said that she planted them there. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of really disgusting stuff, but
okay.
Yeah, it's felt good to just take something that was really icky and gross and make it great, and to try to do something good, and and then other than that, I still had some gigs this last month, and they've been great, but I've really cemented in my, what I've been kind of musing about the last few episodes. It's like, I know what I'm doing next year. Like, I so know what I'm doing next year. It's great. Like it's great to know where you stand.
Yeah.
Like where there's just, it's the part of it's the part of recovery that I appreciate more than anything. And there's something in the Alcoholics Anonymous book that talks about intuitively knowing how to handle situations that used to baffle us.
Yeah. Okay.
And right. And when I saw that starting to come true in my life, it really just made me realize, oh, these tools are worth using.
Yep.
Right. All of the tools we learn in whatever, whether it's through therapy or through self-help stuff or whatever, is you start, if you actually, for myself, the more I applied it, the more I had opportunities to practice it. Like it was like, and I know I've shared this before. There have been times where I've gotten into a conflict situation and it was like a batter watching the ball spinning in slow motion.
Yeah.
You know exactly what pitch just got thrown.
Right.
And when I had those moments, it just made me realize, oh, I want to do this more.
Yeah.
Like wow, like I was able to pick that off before I stuck my foot in my mouth, or I handled it just right.
Yeah.
And the same thing's like happening now. It's like, no, I know in my heart what brings me joy and what doesn't.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like right before we recorded,
oh, nice time. Yeah.
I told you the same thing. Like I gave you an example of how I caught myself, with something that angered me. And I bit my lip, pointed my energy elsewhere, and just moved, like this isn't my fight. I don't need to say something here. And I stopped myself because, past Brian 100% would have shot his mouth off. No question. And it wouldn't have done any good. It wasn't my place. And I was, because that's why I was telling you about it, because I'm like, I was actually like, you're right. When you catch yourself doing that sometimes, you're just like, oh, like I have the tools for these. I know what to do here. Like you said, like, oh, there's a baseball coming. I know I have a bat in my hand. I know what to do with it now, other than club myself in the face with it, which is all I've done in the past.
and think about like if you play out the tape of what you could have done, how uncomfortable you would have made everybody else.
Yeah, just bad scenario.
It is the ultimate. Yeah, it is the ultimate in karma on a small basis, right? Like you do an action, the reaction would have been not good for anybody,
and it would have beat myself up later too, because I would have been like, "Why did I say this? Why didn't I just restrain?" And
yeah. Talk about a huge win. Now, I'm gonna counter that with. I had a situation at work where I was like, nope. I walked in and just unloaded. I unloaded on my general manager. And It was actually really good because I learned a lot about his tendencies when he gets pushed into a corner.
Mhm.
And it was good for me because, again, the tools came into place. He gaslights, he tries to reframe things
Mhm.
in a way that makes it sound worse than it is. And I sat there and I deflected over and over again. And when I was being told that I was being uncivil, I just sat there and I said, "I'm being extremely civil."
Right.
Like, I was like, don't gaslight me.
Yeah.
You know, like I have not raised my voice once. I might be passionate in my delivery right now, but I am not angry.
Yeah.
And what was amazing was, for and I did not feel bad once because this was years and years in the making.
Mhm.
And I apologized to him at the end. I said, it's not fair to you that that you're at the tail end of this tape. But you know what? It has to end sometime.
Yes.
And it ends now.
Right.
Like, I'm done with this. And when he tried to push stuff back at me, I'd already done like what you did, where there were some things where I decided to like just kind of hang back, and they were perfect opportunities right then and there to say, let's, if you want to talk about disrespect, let me talk about the things that have happened to me. And he listened. There's one thing I appreciate about him is he does listen.
Okay.
And in the end, I got really sad. And even though I was fired up going into it, at the end I got really sad. And it was because I don't want, I even said, I'm sorry I didn't master my emotions.
Mhm.
I'm done.
Yeah.
We're all done. This is years and years and years of the same thing.
Yeah.
And it has to end. And I looked at him and I just said, I really hope things would be different now. Because I respect him. I honestly do.
Man, you basically hit him
And
with
I
the
do
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you
I-
really did.
And I actually started to tear up
Yeah.
because it was the truth.
Yeah.
And that's why I never felt bad about what I did
Mhm.
at all, because it was 100% my truth. And it was the truth of my coworkers who've dealt with this stuff. The best part was when other coworkers came in the office, saw it, turned around and walked right away.
Yeah. Like, oh,
Or-
mom and
or
dad
like
are
the
fighting.
Totally. Or the delivery guy would walk in and
Yeah.
I would have a conversation with him and be laughing. And then
Yeah.
when the conversation ended, I'd get right back into it.
Right.
Because it wasn't personal. It was
Mhm.
business.
Yeah.
Like, it was absolute business, and it was time to be done.
Yeah.
And when he even called me out on the venue and that we could have gone sat, that I blew it up in the office, and I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this is how much this has to happen right now, right here, and this way.
Right.
And, should I have had a meeting and gone into the, sure,
Maybe. Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, right? Like, just allow me to be, a bit of a jerk
Yeah.
here, which is when you go into his office, the power dynamic shifts slightly. When you do it in the random office like you did, the power dynamic is even.
Oh, out in the open.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I'm not saying that
Yep.
that like you said, should you have done the other? Yes, but also maybe not. Because like I said, this keeps him on his toes a little bit versus in his office where he's more comfortable and whatever. And again, I'm not trying to be manipulative, but at the idea of sometimes when these things have to happen, they just have to happen. Doesn't matter. I mean,
That was it.
like it'd be different if you were in
Like,
like
that
a customer's house or something. That's a whole different
Oh,
ballgame,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But
I mean, the thing
Yeah.
is, like, he was sitting at his desk. I'm standing.
yeah,
The dynamic right there says so much. If we'd have gone into the boardroom, we would have both been sitting on either end of a table.
yes,
And it would have been very different.
hmm
And like, yeah, and I was ready to accept any consequence of this. Any consequence.
Yeah.
If the board of directors had me in, I would have just asked them. I said, how many years would you guys put up with this?
Right.
Like, how many years? Like, how many more years? 4? 3 more, 2 more, 1 more,
0?
10
Yeah.
more. I don't know.
Right.
It's been 4 years so far.
Right.
It's been 4 years. How much longer?
Yeah.
What's reasonable? Because I'm done.
Yeah. Right.
know?
Right. Well, the thing, we can only keep our composure so long if someone keeps needling you. It's like sooner or later.
And it wasn't him.
Like, stop. Like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I told him. I said, it's not fair to you that you get to have the brunt of this.
Yeah, like when you
But
call a
you're the one
customer
that's in
service
charge
number
now.
and you're mad about something. Unfortunately, that person gets the brunt of it, even though they didn't
Of every
wrong
other
you.
call that happened.
Yeah, and they didn't
Yep.
wrong you, but unfortunately, that's where my energy is going to be pointed because
Well-
you're the one here.
Because you're the current one that gets to fix this and make this
Yes.
different.
Yep.
If you choose to. You know, like,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and
'cause,
so
he doesn't have to choose or
He
he
doesn't
doesn't have
have
to
to.
fix anything. Yeah.
the good news is we ended up actually having a conversation about it a couple weeks later. It happened last week with everybody in the same room, and we all had to express it. And I still sat there at some times just going, like, are you guys even listening?
Yeah.
Like, how can I? Because they kept trying to come up with some sort of gray area or way around it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
y'all, there's no gray area here.
Yeah.
I know everyone in the world of customer service wants to find the place where the customer is always right, but I'm sorry, they're not.
No, you're 100%
Like, they're
right.
just,
Yep.
they're not always right.
Nope.
There is a place where you don't get what you want.
Yeah.
You'll get it eventually, but you're not going to get it right here, right now, and in the way that you feel
Mhm.
like it has to happen. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it was amazing. So, I think in the big pit, I have so much respect for him that this did not negatively affect our relationship
Okay. Well, that's
in
good.
any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I think it strengthened it.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And
Yeah.
I have so much respect for that. So much.
Yeah.
I like top the gratitude list. I mean, just top of the gratitude list.
Mhm.
And also I'm grateful that I had the tools to express what I need to express and not let somebody shift my words around or gaslight me.
That's what I was going to point out. I'm like, and that you also had the knowledge to recognize that someone was gaslighting you and be like, no, we ain't doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
I said, we're not doing
I'm
this.
not
Yeah,
letting you do that. Yeah. That's something I
Because-
feel that's a boundary a lot of people are still not great with is people are learning more and more about gaslighting because, of the term really kind of popping up over the last, 10 years or so. And a lot of people
well,
still
let's just
sometimes,
talk about the last 6 months.
yeah. But, a
In
lot of
politics.
yeah, right. But a lot of people still don't fully know when it's happening to them. And even if they do, sometimes it's a tough boundary to set because it's really drawing a firm line. Like, no. You don't get to call me crazy. You don't get to say I'm making this up. This is my truth. Like,
Yeah.
So.
When I used to get, I had an ex-girlfriend. I just remember
I
all
had
of our
one
fights
too.
got
What are we
confusing
bragging
for
now?
me.
Remember, she was on the show.
Funny. So, but my ex is the one that, God bless her, I'm sober because of her.
Mhm.
We would have fights, and at the end, I would be like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
Like the next day, and it took me a while to realize that she was a master of diversion
Yeah.
and deflection,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know what was happening when it
Yeah.
was happening to me. I just knew at the end, I'm like, how did that, what? And I didn't have the tools to do it because why? I was going into fights with one hand tied behind my back.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much
Yeah.
I did it until I got into therapy and started seeing what it was and reading stuff about it more. I didn't realize how much I did it. And I've tried very hard to not be that person now when I do get into arguments with people. It really sucks because I'm very say what you mean kind of a person. So if somebody doesn't speak exactly what they mean, I'm very much like poking holes in it and stuff. So it's very much gaslighting, but I'm trying to do it for clarity. I'm not trying to do it for manipulation as much, but in the past it was more probably about manipulation, and I don't even know that I knew I was doing it for that sometimes. I think I just was like trying to find a way to win is what it was.
Well, that's
right.
what I
now.
what
I don't care as much about
this...
winning. I actually am more about the communication now.
Yeah. How it was phrased in this conversation was, I would say something, and how it came back to me is, "Oh, so what you're saying is this," and I went, "No, that's not what I said."
Right.
And don't gaslight me.
Yeah.
And because if the response was a question. Like, wait a minute, let me understand.
Yeah.
Are you saying this?
Right.
That's different
yes.
than, because my old me would do that same thing.
Yeah.
Like something would come out slightly vague and I would take it to its extreme.
Yes.
I would take it further than was actually intended.
And
rather than ask for clarification, I would hype it up.
Yeah. I was very much taught that. I was raised with that. I love my mom dearly, and I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but she taught me that because she used to do that. And that was how she used to win arguments, basically. And the way I used to win arguments a lot of times is I'd talk somebody into a circle to where at the end they're basically a pretzel, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. And that's why I said I've gotten now to where I'm more like you said, ask the question of, did you mean this? Because, and I'll even say, because I need clarity, so I can understand. And it's like, so that you know that I'm not trying to undermine or question you in the regard of whatever, but I'm questioning you just so that I can understand, did you say this? Did you mean this? You know, because again, using the wrong word at the wrong time can drastically change a conversation. It can very much change the intent of something. So yeah. And that was something I learned in therapy because I asked my therapist, at the time I asked her how to deal with that better. Because I even told her, I said, I know I'm doing this and I don't want to. I said, realistically, I told her, I said, where I'm coming from is I want clarity so I can crush you. That's literally what I was looking for. How do I win? Because I grew up in an environment where I used to argue tons with my mom. And it was always about winning, getting the last word, winning, all this stuff, And as much as we loved each other and got along great most of the time, when her and I got into arguments, they got heated because neither would cede, And that I don't want that anymore. I don't want those arguments. I don't want to be that person. I want to just be a good communicator so we can just have a better relationship, no matter who it is, friend, family, spouse, whatever. I don't want that anymore. I want to unlearn that behavior, Yeah. Because you're on the same team. You don't need to win.
Well, that's,
it.
That's it. And so now my goal is to understand.
Yes.
Now my goal is to let the person know that I understand and that I hear what they're saying. And though that maybe I don't necessarily agree with it right now.
Yeah.
I want to know where you're coming from. And it's been, I think the difficult time I've had is when the person I'm talking to maybe struggles to put their thoughts together, or maybe it's a feeling, but they can't necessarily explain the feeling in a way.
Yes.
And whereas I think that used to be a giant opening for me to just destroy them.
Me too.
Now I look at it as like, well, let me help you because, you're clearly unhappy. I'm a source of that unhappiness, because the reason I wanted to destroy before was because how dare you make me the source of your unhappiness?
Yeah.
I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah.
In my French.
Yeah.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy anymore.
Exactly. Yep. I'm the same way now.
I
Yep.
don't want to be someone's source of frustration or an unhappiness.
Yes.
Because it sucks.
Yeah, it does. Like, it bothers me when I know I've hurt someone. You know, it always has. It didn't necessarily stop me from hurting someone, but now I try really hard to not, like I said, to not be that person, because I never wanted to be that person. You know, I mean, there are rare occasions where, you know, if I lashed out, I wanted to hurt somebody, but it was even rare then. Now it's even rarer, because honestly, I just move on from the person. You know, rather than try to like cut them to the core, I'll just cut you off. You know, like, I'm just done. Like, I don't need to put all that out there. And then, you know, because like I said, I'm going to beat myself up for it. I'm going to think about it later. Like, man, I shouldn't have said that. You know, I really shouldn't have this or that. And it's like, it's so much easier for me to just go, I don't want to be that person. This is a bad place for me to be in. So again, I can't change you, but I can change me. I'm done here.
Yeah.
You know?
And now my goal is, can I change me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
sometimes that's really hard.
Is it something that I can do? Because so clearly I've had an effect on the person.
Yeah.
Clearly they're, excuse me, unhappy.
Yeah.
I would like to see a change, but can I even make that change?
Yeah.
Can it be articulated? And if it can't be, can I help?
Yeah. Like, even if it's just being less of a frustration, you know, like,
yeah,
okay, I'm going to constantly frustrate you. We determine that, like, things I do always, but can we figure out a way to where I can do this less? Because I don't want to.
So that was the, you know, like, I just feel good when I come from that standpoint. Like, I just feel better. Yet I'm more likely to do it now in my personal relationships than I will at work.
Yeah.
Just because at my work, there are things, you know, most of us that are in a relationship, we shared the time together.
Yeah.
Meaning that if we've been together for 10 years, we've been together for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
At my work, I've been doing this job for 19 years. You've been here for 6 months.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. You may have coworkers that are there that whole time, but it's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like,
well, and also
okay.
In your relationships, typically you have similar goals. You know, maybe not the same, but typically you kind of both want to move in similar directions. At work, everybody's got their own agenda and their own whatever,
exactly.
too. You know, so, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just, maybe I'm not here for the long haul. You know, maybe I'm only here until next summer and then I'm moving, or I don't want to do this the rest of my life. And you're here going, yeah, this is my career. You know, like so, you know, you're what's the word I'm looking for here? Your commitment to it can be on very different levels, you know, which changes the goals and all that kind of thing. And so it's, you know, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just the truth of it. It happens in relationships too, but typically when you're with someone for X amount of years, usually you're kind of still looking similar-ish directions. You know, like, hey, how can we pay the house off? How can we, you know, whatever it is, you know. Whereas the person you works with, they don't care. Like, I don't care if you get that job done.
or they're, like you said, they're coming at it from their own. I mean, we all come at our experiences our own point of view. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like ultimately we do, in the process of having a discussion, we start to see things from other people's points of view, but how we come at it is from our own experience and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
However, and it's a lot more individual, a lot more solo, where I think in our personal relationships, yes, we do have, we have our own ulterior motives and our own motivations and stuff. But if we're actually, committed to the relationship, where I think the direction should be a little different than my focus at my work. I just see it as different.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different type of relationship.
And I probably like my facilities guy, my facilities coworkers, not my guys, but my coworkers. Like Omar and I are going to have conversations that are going to be a lot more like a relationship.
Yeah, right. 'Cause you've been there.
Because he's been there longer than I have.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Now, so there's things he knows that I don't, and there's things that I know that he don't, and that he doesn't. And we are definitely a team, and we're working together. And so our discussions tend to be a lot more like my personal relationships. However, the new guy, no.
Yeah.
I am not.
Like I barely even know
sorry,
you.
but I'm not.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have my experience.
Well, it's similar to like how somebody is with like how you would be with Sharon versus if you got into a new relationship. It'd be just a total different behavioral type.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing there. It's just Omar's your work husband.
Yeah, realistically, it is truly one of those situations where I probably spend more time with him than I do my own wife.
Yeah.
and that's how life is.
Yeah.
It is. Yep. It's just the truth of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of work stuff too, we're doing our new schedule now, and it's been interesting working Monday through Friday again.
Oh yeah.
And then so we work Monday through Friday for 3 weeks. Then I get a 3-day weekend, and then I work Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And then I get a 3-day weekend and then a 1-day weekend. And the interesting thing was, I think I was more productive on my 1-day weekend than on my 3-day weekend.
Because you were like, oh man, I only got 1 day. Let's go.
Riddle me that one.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think that the 1-day weekend, you'd be like, here's what I'm doing. You just got a thing of chip dip and some chips, and you're sitting on the couch.
Like, no, that was my 3-day weekend.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because you're like,
my 1-day weekend.
On the 3-day weekend, you're like, well, I can waste a day,
Totally.
And then 2 days.
Yeah. or hey, I got all this time off. I'm going to do something fun.
Yeah.
Versus I only have 1 day. I need to get stuff done.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was kind of funny how like by the time I got done, Sharon was out of town. She came back the next day. She was like, whoa, like I'd done all this yard work. I'd planted all this stuff. I pulled all the plums out of the tree.
Right.
I mean, like I had the most productive day ever. And I sat there and I was like, if I actually did that on the 3-day weekend, I'd probably get ahead.
Yeah, right. Screw that noise.
Video games.
Yeah, video games it is. Yeah. I'm going to sit and watch baseball for 3 days. Yeah. I forgot earlier something I wanted to mention, which was I had gotten really excited because, a band I liked that had broken up, had announced,
that's right.
Had announced that they were getting back together, and it's the Swellers for those who don't know. And I was like, "Oh, cool! They're going to do a show in Detroit." So my intent was basically, I was just going to, when tickets went on sale, I was just going to buy tickets and be like, "Hey, Tony, we're going," kind of a thing. Hopefully, he could go, and if not, I'd find somebody else to go. No big deal, right? But then, like 2 days later, I see a thing that's like, show's canceled, and I was like, oh wow, that was very fast, like, oh, I wonder what happened kind of thing. And then I happened to look at their Instagram, and there were some accusations that have come up about the singer, and I'm not accusing anybody. I don't know any, it's like if people want to look, it's out there on the internet. You can go find the stuff. I'm just talking more about the, how much reading through the comments and stuff. Like, first of all, it's horrible if it's true. I believe, the victims and stuff, all that kind of stuff. I feel awful for them. But it was just, again, I'm only talking from this part of it, which is first world problems compared to the real problems. But the idea of, like when you get so excited for something like that and then it gets canceled, and something I had been, kind of looking forward to. Plus, I haven't gone and seen any live music in a while. So it was all like, yeah, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then reading through the comments, and you just see how awful it is when these kind of things happen, how there's not just the initial victims in this. There's all these people also that have been fans for years. And this is a band that, came along at the right time and saved my life. And, there's all those kind of fans, right? Like, this got me through some hard stuff in my life. And you're seeing all that. Now these people are having to take that step back and go, like, I don't want to support this anymore if, and stuff. So it's wild seeing this stuff in real time as people are coming to grips with that. Now, I know we've seen it tons of times, like, Michael Jackson, or more recently, Diddy, that kind of stuff.
Bill Cosby,
exactly. It's so hard to separate art from artist. And yet you're in that position to where, do you just go whole hog and say I'm done, or do you find ways of still enjoying the music, but like, do you not stream it anymore, because I don't want to give any money to the person and they still are going to collect a check off of that, even if it's a penny, it's very weird. And I was like I said, I was thinking about it and I was like, I've never looked at this from that perspective, is that all the fans essentially become kind of victims in this as well. Not on the same level. I'm not comparing, but you do, because you feel like something you held close and dear now is sullied.
Right.
And it's got an ick to it now,
Yeah, totally.
And it's so tough because it is something that, I had such a good time. That was you remember me talking about that concert when Tony and I went, and I was just like, dude, it was another of my, like, I'm really in the moment kind of vibe, and the energy of the crowd. And it's like, and nothing will take that away, but now still it has that like greasy feel to it, it's like, so,
Yep.
Yeah, so, last I read, the band is officially broke up. The singer has completely left the band, and I feel, and from what they said, there is no, they're not going to do anything at all going forward. In fact, like, if I believe right, like, their Instagram is basically only got the band statement, basically, and the statement from Nick, and that's it. Like, I think they've taken their videos and everything else down, basically. And it's like, well, and then on top of it, one of the guys in the Swellers is this dude's brother. So now he's trying to, like, he's got his own bands and stuff, and there's that, like, splash damage, right? Like, because people are already asking the questions, like, did the rest of the band know? Did they ignore it? There's all that now is on this. And, man, I thought they were all really good guys. And, Tony and I had the one, the drummer on the podcast, and I was like, man, if we had the singer on there, I'd for sure go take that episode down, because I wouldn't feel right about it anymore, and if any, and I'm not, there are no allegations that I'm aware of that the rest of the band knew, that the last I read anyway. So if anyone finds anything that's new to me, I don't know any of that, but like I said, it's crazy how much residual damage and splash jam, or you just what else is left in the wake of these kind of things. That it isn't just the awful things that the person's been accused of, but you've now kind of wronged all these other people too, because you're just a creep, or something like that. And it's like again, it's always that lesson, right? Is like, don't idolize people because we're all horribly flawed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sucks when something that's so, because we all take music so close to the heart. As like I said, everybody's got a band that's, man, this band got me through a hard time kind of situation, and now you got to go, ew, So yeah. So yeah, so like I said, it was just weird to me because I started seeing it from a little different side than I had in the past, because I've already had people like Louis C.K. when the stuff came out about him. I loved him as a comedian, but when all that came out about him, I was like, yeah, and done. Like, I haven't watched any of his. I watched his special after that, only to see if he was going to offer up any sort of a like apology or attrition, or not attrition. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said attrition. Shoot, what's the word for it? Where you feel bad, like remorse and such. And he didn't. Yeah. He actually made jokes about it, and I was like, yeah, done. Like the first thing I feel like he should have done is come out and say, hey, creep, and at least seemingly put an apology out there, because I don't like a lot of things, like, how it is. A lot of the apologies people offer are not, they say allude to doing something wrong, but don't admit to doing anything wrong. That way they don't open themselves up to lawsuits and whatever. And it's just also slimy. And it just, to me, but going back to what you said earlier, it's like, I'm very much the type that I feel like people should get a second chance. But I think the first step toward a second chance begins with admittance, much like 12-step and such, admit that you did something wrong, own it with an earnest apology, and and then start showing however you can that you're not that person anymore. And so many times those things aren't met. And for me, that's kind of the level I hold it to. And if a person doesn't do that, then I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't think you're, like, I can't support you, like, I wish you well, but I can't support you anymore. So yeah, that's why I as much as it killed me, I mean, I took all the Sweller stuff off my Spotify. I just, I love their stuff, but I just don't want to give even a plug cent, So I went through the same thing with, like I know Tony and I talked about on Salty Language the one time about how, like, if you own the music, right? Like, if you own an album or you own the CD, I have less issue if listening to that stuff, because it's like, well, my money's already gone out. Like, I'm not actively supporting them anymore, but with the streaming stuff, you're actively supporting. So it's weird to me. I don't know. I hate it though. I wish people could just create and then just not be creeps. Maybe can we just not? Apparently that's too much to ask. From the comments I read, apparently that kind of stuff was going on, like grooming and stuff like that was going on a lot back in the like early 2000s and all that stuff. So doesn't make it right. I'm not in any way at all justifying it, but ew.
Ew. Yeah, that's it. It's all it comes back to is just ew.
Ew. And I hope that the victims, have gotten the help that they need, and I hope they can live good lives after this, because, I've had people close to me groomed by other people, and it's a real, let's see, I can't use the word, mind freak. We'll use that word. I can't use the word I want to use there, but yeah. I mean, I guess I could. Hen already threw one out. I feel like if he gets one, I should get one.
That one slipped out a little too easily.
Yeah, it happens. But anyway, yeah. Wow. So let's turn this around to definitive. What's your win for the week or month?
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know what more I could say. Like, I've helped a family out.
Yeah, that's a good win. It's a big win. Yeah.
I gave up my time. Am I getting something for it? Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, am I motivated by the fact that I get something at the end of this? Yes, but that's not my
Right.
purpose here.
Well, it's
the-
interesting. I think you are, but not monetarily. What you're motivated by
No, it's
is
yeah.
helping the family and turning something awful into something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd have to go listen to the episode of when I discussed when it happened, but I can still
Yeah.
remember it.
Yes.
Like the day it happened, that when we saw the news and we sat down as a band and we're like,
Well,
oof,
yeah. I mean, like
know?
what I was just talking about, right? Like,
Dude,
I
yeah.
mean, you, and on a higher level, because it's not just you. It's like,
'Cause it's somebody so
Yeah.
here's the thing that I think that was like talking to Andrea. Like clearly, I mean, her perspective, no one's ever going to touch her perspective, right?
No, of course.
I mean, she's Mormon. And so for her, like she was bonded in the eyes of God.
yeah.
Like this was a life
Yeah, sure.
bond.
Mhm.
And but from my perspective is like when you make art with people, that's a unique bond.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and art could be playing team sports.
Yeah.
Because I think that's art. I think that's art.
Yeah.
When people work together and do something beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you find out that person is not who you thought they were.
Yeah.
And not just like, oh, I didn't know he had these, predilections.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're a horrible human being for what you did.
Yeah.
And you absolutely have no remorse.
Yeah.
And to sit there and go, this is the person I shared, like, my passion with.
Yeah. Well, it makes you take a step
It's
back
like,
and look
oh.
at your judgment too, like how did I not see this or this or this sometimes, maybe not in this case, but sometimes you're just like, how did I miss that? Like how was I friends with somebody who's such a monster? Like it's wild.
Because the bottom line was for all of us was we all know that these aren't the first times.
Right, 100%. It
Right.
never is. Yeah.
And
or rarely,
it never
rarely
is.
is,
And
I should say.
That rarely, yeah. Like the first time we sat down, I said, "There's no way this was an outlier. This has happened before. This was just the culmination."
Yeah.
And then when you finally do hear the stories at the end, it's like, "Oh wow!
Right.
Like, yes, this has happened before."
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh. And then the stalking, ugh.
Yeah.
That one really, like, I've had my share of having a broken heart,
Mm-hmm.
and as a result, doing some kind of creepy things because
me too.
I had a broken heart.
Yeah.
But I didn't do this stuff.
No,
Like,
no. Big difference.
like putting cameras all over your own house to spy on your wife. Like,
Yeah.
ew.
Like
just
exactly.
ew.
Just that coat of grease on it is just ew. Yep.
Like, right, just everywhere.
Yep.
That's why I'm still like. So I was telling,
Like you
Brianna
even telling
about
me the stories, I'm like wanting to go take a shower. Like just hearing
shower,
it
right?
third hand. You're hearing it second hand. I'm
Yeah.
hearing it third, and I still want to go get the grease off. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was telling Brianna about some of the equipment that I where it was like this, and I was telling you a little bit about this too, where like it was this, somebody put some hours into putting this collection of stuff together, and Brianna looks at me, she's like, "Oh, I would have torn the whole thing apart and sold it off one by one just in spite." I'm like, "Oh, I did." Like,
Yeah.
I sat that thing down on the floor and I pulled every cord and every cable out of it because I know how many hours went into this.
Yeah.
Hours that should have gone into loving your family.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with somebody having a hobby or even a slight I don't want to call it an obsession, but where it's past a hobby, like that's fine, but yeah, there's no. Not in this case. That's that's beyond collecting. I mean, he's that's getting closer to like horde level,
What? No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
This is like if you were to ask me to describe it, it's hoarder level stuff.
Yeah.
When you have and this is from my own experience, like doing 12-step groups with with financial stuff is one of the topics that comes up is like, you own 4 of the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And 2 of them still have the tags on them.
Yes.
Because you get a rush out of buying and you forget that you'd already bought it. This is what that kind of stuff was.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got stuff, when you've got a MacBook Pro sitting in its original packaging and it's never been opened, sitting on a shelf.
Jeez.
Ew. Like, just ew. You could have given that to one of your kids for Christmas.
Right, or to me, yeah. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
and it happens to be going to one of the kids this year for Christmas. So yay.
Yeah, that's right. Like, what the heck? Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
That's what should be happening with stuff like that.
Yeah, like when I pulled the amplifier down, first I was like, all right, something's heavy in this, and I opened it and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, this is a boutique, like it's never even been opened.
Yeah.
And then next to it there was a box, and I grabbed the box. I'm like, I wonder what's in this. And I opened it up and I just looked flabbergasted. Ron's like, what? I'm like, I just showed it to him.
Yeah.
And then she looked at it, and because the kids were I didn't want to say anything when the kids were there.
Yeah.
And the kids walked away, and she goes, that's going to make an awesome Christmas present for Asher this year.
Beautiful.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Love it. Well, that's the thing. It's like
perfect.
Either that or if you get a new computer, give your old one to the kid at least. Like, why is it just sitting there not getting used? Like, what? Like, that's just silliness. All right.
Yeah, it was brand new. It still has, the Apple box.
Yeah.
It still has the plastic wrapped around it. Like the seal's never been broken.
Wow.
I was like,
wow.
Ah.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Like I tell you, this whole thing's been an exercise in what are my priorities in life, and help me not to have them be this.
Yes.
Like I am so less stuff oriented lately.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine because
even though I'm surrounded, but
I think that's kind of my thing too, right? It was like you run into that after like you did it after your dad passed. It was the same thing.
Oh yeah,
because you were like you said same thing. You were like because you went and started getting rid of stuff because you were like I don't want to be this when I go, and I've been trying to do that too because I'm feeling the same way. To where it's like, God, if someone had to come in my house right now and get rid of all my stuff and the stuff that I've what I'm like. Oh, I don't want to do that to anybody. So it's like that's been my goal for the last few months is just keep working toward that goal is downsize.
Totally.
So yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so I guess long way around it, but like my win would be, not going instant negative after finding out about the tooth and like I told you about restraining my mouth because
that was a huge win.
That's always been a tough one for me because I don't like if I feel like somebody's being wrong to somebody, like especially talking down to people and stuff. I'm vocal about it. Even if I've done it when I've talked about it on here where I've done it and it's like people I don't even know and I'll still mouth off at them, and it's like, and I feel righteous about it, and then later I feel bad about it.
Yeah. You're like, wow,
Yeah, but I got to learn there is a time and place for it. There are times when you need to stand up and talk for someone who won't or can't talk for themselves. There's definitely a place. It's true. But it doesn't have to be every time. It goes back to the pick your battles, right? Choose what hill.
Yeah, the old doesn't need to be said, doesn't need to be said right now, doesn't need to be said right now by me.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, well, that's a solid win.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I very much caught it in the moment too. Was very much like, oh, like like I felt like I should give myself a mackerel or something right then. Like I deserved a treat.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. well, of course.
And as we all know, mackerel is the treat of choice.
I think I'd go with a gallon of ice cream, but whatever.
Okay, fine. I guess. My doctor would probably agree with the mackerel over the ice cream.
Yeah.
I'd rather you eat the mackerel.
I do have something that I'm just going to throw out there for people who, if it's important to them, and that is that I had to Oh, actually, I got to. Well, I'll say that for the end because it's actually kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
But the funding for the LGBTQ teen suicide hotline has been cut.
Yeah.
And so the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifelines LGBTQ Youth Service was officially terminated on Thursday. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. I meant to
reach out to your representatives.
Yeah, this is all we can do at the moment. Is yell at them, scream at them, protest, whatever it is you need to do. Don't do anything stupid, but make yourself. Like, what is it, John? I forgot the guy's name now. John, was it Lewis? You used to talk about
John Lewis.
Yeah, making
good trouble.
Good trouble. Yeah, is let your representatives know that you will not vote for them again if they continue to support these things, and because people are going to die because of this. Like, people are not going to feel like they have a line they can reach out to, especially not the minimized parts of society, because they aren't going to, they don't always feel safe reaching out to people around them, because sometimes it isn't safe. So, yeah.
And this was a program that was approved by our representatives. So reach out to your representatives.
Yes.
They're the only ones that can change this now.
Yeah. Because the funding has to come from them. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess if you would like
good show.
Yeah, if you'd like to reach out to us, you can find the show on Twitter at the Crazy Life Pod, where I post when new episodes go up. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/Crazy Life Podcast, or if you just search Crazy Life Podcast, you should be able to find us. I've been skipping the other stuff here. So, Heno, how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, you can mostly find me occasionally posting. I've actually been very social media. How do I phrase it? I've been kind of a light. Yeah, light's a great way. But, Instagram, Facebook, look up Heno Heiter. You're going to find me. Find me as Ida Heno on Blue Sky and the Twitter. I'm just going to call it Twitter.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So, and great. This time of year's, Sharon takes great pictures of my puppies. So
she does.
If you want to see a lot of puppy photos, put those up there. I'm posting them. She pointed she shows me the video. She points the camera at the tree.
Yeah.
And the little fluffy one jumped into the tree.
Really?
I was like, how did the dog get in the tree? She's like, I just watched. She showed me the video. She held the camera up and the dog knows, I'm supposed to jump up here and get and pose.
Wow.
Because they know they get a treat, right?
Okay,
for posing. So all she had to do was hold it, and then of course the bulldog then has to do what the other one does.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it. It was the most amazing thing ever.
All right. Yeah, they're great pictures. So yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome pictures.
Yeah, definitely find Heno and check out the pictures of his pups. All right. Wow. You can find me on various social medias at Stunami. My other podcast can be found at saltylanguage.com or on Twitter at salty_language. Show's not safe for work, and it's just me and my best bud talking about that's an old one. I almost was like, this is what we're talking about. Oh, actually, nope, that is the last one.
Is the one? Yeah.
Yeah. I have things written down for the next episode, but we haven't recorded yet. So, but we talked about the Wolverine video game, Alien Earth, the TV show, Marvel Zombies, the show, Dirty Sodas, which we had talked about once before, but we were kind of talking a little more about it, Battlefield, the game, the show Into the Void, and we also talk a little bit about Schnitzel. So if you're into any of that, give us a listen. We're all over the place. Yeah, we'd appreciate it. Man, I'm saying a lot again. I got to quit that stuff. I lost my place. That's all of it, right? That's all the links? Yeah, that's all the links. All right. So, as always, like Heno said, please reach out, not just to your representatives, but also reach out to your friends. and check on them, especially with funding being cut for, I mean, like right now with the government shutdown, sorry to not make this evergreen, but with the government shutdown, there's a lot of jobs that I read today, there's a bunch of mental health jobs getting gutted and different stuff. So please reach out to people. Please be kind to people and try to understand what people are going through. You know, let's find bridges here, not separations with others, because there's just too much of it. And we've got way more in common with other people than we do differences. So, you know, just try to help others and whatever. And there's a lot of people needing help right now, again, with the shutdown. So, you know, if you can help, please help people. Yep. And just be kind more than anything else. Just be kind, you know. And yeah, I think that's all I got to say, really. You want to take us out of here?
Here are the crazy life. We do not condone violence. However, if all that kindness doesn't work, just remember October 23rd, 2025 is National Slap Your Coworker Day.